I would love to share an example of what we are doing at Penn when it comes to incorporating online components into education. So before COVID, Penn was running teacher trainings fully in person. We would bring teachers together. They would get to practice doing different practical activities with their colleagues in person. When COVID came, we realized we had to make that 100% online, and we managed to still be able to offer training for teachers across the country online. But now that we're in the post-COVID era, we've realized that it's ideal if we actually combine some elements of online with some element of in-person. And I really see that as actually the future of education on the continent for Africa is blended learning, putting together a combination of some things in person and some things online. I don't think we should fully be in person because the way the world is moving, we're all on our phones and our devices all the time. And so education should also meet us there as we are on our devices. But then at the same time, we shouldn't also be 100% online because we have real issues with connectivity and power and so on. So I truly see blended learning as the future of education on the continent. And I believe it's something that's possible to be done across many different age groups. I believe even from small children through adults, we can offer blended learning as a more effective way to engage everyone in learning. I think the key difference if you're talking about very young kids is that they need the online component to be more synchronous, which means that they're doing it at the same time. So it probably means everybody's on their device, but maybe there's an adult kind of guiding them together. Whereas if the older and older you get, the less synchronous you have to have the online component be. So you can choose your own time to watch a video and listen to a recording if you're an adult. But all the age groups, I think, can benefit from blended learning. To incorporate blended learning into educational systems, in Ghana, there will be a challenge if we're targeting the students directly, because as it stands now in the public schools, students are not allowed to have devices. So for me, I see the most effective way to begin introducing blended learning in the education systems is through the teachers, because the teachers have their devices. Virtually all teachers have a smartphone, if not a laptop. And so I see that as a key way that we can start to make blended learning more and more common in the system until we get to the point that the teachers are also capable and comfortable to now guide the students in digital aspects. And with the new curriculum, one of the core competencies is digital literacy. So we're expecting that students in school will learn digital literacy. But I believe that in order for us to do that, the teachers first need to be equipped in the digital skills. So I see offering training for teachers as a key way that we can start introducing blended learning into the system. And it will even help existing teacher training be more effective because it costs less money to be offering the same program if you don't have to go physically meet a teacher every time in person. So I think blended learning should be adopted for teacher training as a key way to introduce digital and online learning into the system. I'm an advocate for us using locally available materials to teach all the topics, but especially when it comes to math and science, it's actually possible to use materials we have around us to bring those concepts to life. So if we're talking about numeracy, for example, at the basic school, if you're trying to teach counting and addition, you could actually have students manipulate things like a necklace or even a bracelet with beads and move the beads around as a way to practice counting, addition, subtraction. You can use bottle tops and manipulate them to show fractions. You can even have students themselves move around. For example, if you are teaching primary school students about telling time, you could have students move their arms in the form of a clock to represent the hours and minutes of a clock. So I'm advocating for us to use locally available materials to teach those foundational skills. And this can be done whether it's in person or even in a hybrid mode through the use of videos and recordings that we share. I'll also share that from our experience running blended training with teachers, which we have now run across 4 districts in Ghana, as well as for teachers in Rwanda and teachers in Liberia, we've seen that it's possible to offer education in a blended format. And even though we have real challenges of connectivity and availability of lights, cost of data, all of these challenges are real. But what we've seen, having done this in different locations now, we've seen that it's possible, and teachers are resilient to overcome some of these challenges. Teachers can be creative enough to find ways of dealing with these challenges and still persist to complete a training that's offered online or in person. So we shouldn't let those challenges prevent us from trying to really adopt blended education in our system broadly.